Hello viewers, I'm very excited today to have a very resourceful person with us at Chancier's Haven, Dr. Fomenkin Jende. She's a pediatrician. I will not say everything. She will tell us herself who she really is, because I may say some and leave out some. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you very much.
We are very happy to finally have you on Chancier's Haven.
It's a privilege.
It's been a dream.
It's a privilege.
And Dr. Fomenki is a pediatrician. She has a passion for parenting and children. I used to follow her a lot. I enjoy her content. She's so rich, and today, as you can see on the table, we have fruits, we have vegetables, we have food. In fact, we have nice things on this table today. That tells us what we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking about nutrition and your child. What is it that you give your child to eat daily? Is it okay? Is it correct? Does it go well with the child's age? Some parents just give food. Meanwhile, there are some certain meals that will go with certain children, or some meals that will boost certain things in some children. So today we're going to learn about this with Dr. Fomenki. Okay, doctor, we are here to tap from this your rich ideas concerning nutrition. I know you have a passion when it comes to children and nutrition. Until I said, when I think of Dr. Fomenki Jende, I think of nutrition and children. So we wish to know, what is it about nutrition and children? Because growing up, we just know that what mommy gives you, you eat. We just know that what is available, we eat, especially with the hard times. Sometimes you can have corn chaff this morning, you have it in the afternoon, you have it in the evening, and the next morning you could finish it and continue with gari, and that's how life goes, and we grow. So what is it? Why is this particular peculiarity with nutrition now and children and growing up and all of that?
Okay, it's really a privilege, Chancier, to have me on your show. I'm so grateful, and I thank you for thinking about children and the nutrition. It's very important, and we have too many things in our minds these days as parents. As you rightly said, children just have to eat what mommy has provided. That's true, but let's think about it. Let's think about the child you want tomorrow. You want the child to be an engineer, you want the child to be an entrepreneur, a doctor, you want the child to be somebody tomorrow. But that child has to grow to a certain level. The child has to have a lot of mental prowess to be able to become. And the child has to actually also be, let's say, one kind of, let's understand the parents and the children, because the parents don't think about the place of the nutrition when they're thinking of who the child becomes tomorrow.
Wow.
They have to think about it before 5. You know, the mental prowess, the brain power, the brain development of the child is very important before 5. And it's not only in what we give them, it's also in play and all of that. But nutrition for the first 2 years of life will account for almost everything for the child. Their development, their growth, and their milestones. You want to be very careful what you give them in the first 2 years. Their brains actually multiply and get to like 80% of their brain power before the age of 5. So what we're giving them helps them from before they are conceived to 5, and then from then on we keep up good nutrition.
Serious. So before they are conceived, I'm supposed to think of what I'll be eating. One life that I've come to live, and it has so much work.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what is it that it's good for the children? Because we grew up, it's only when we go to some home economics and food and nutrition class They'll teach us the different classes of meal, and after we learned that, it was for exam purpose, and now we just live our lives. When you pass on the road, what you see and you like, you buy and you eat and you go.
Yes. Okay. Let me divide it into before pregnancy, that's before conception, during pregnancy, the first 2 years of life. That's the first 1,000 days of life. It will begin actually at conception right up to 2 years of age. So before pregnancy, every woman should really be thinking of what she's eating. Green leafy vegetables would have the folic acid she needs. But then they have to be eaten in a certain way. If you steep them, you lose a lot of the content. If you overcook them, you lose a lot of the folic acid and the vitamins and minerals. So we have to know how we cook before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and afterwards for the children. So women will need folic acid for neural tube development, the brain, and everything else involved. The central nervous system will thrive on the folic acid. Well, because of that, a lot of women lose pregnancies actually by 3 months. If the child's neural tube is not well developed, they would lose pregnancies, or they will have malformations in the babies, or you will have other problems with the babies with brain development. Now, the food we eat, if we can't have enough, if you're thinking of getting pregnant, it's difficult and it's been an issue, you should just go on folic acid vitamins. It's very important. Now, we get it from green leafy vegetables, you know, the green peppers. We have also green vegetables, the spinach, we have in our green, huckleberry, all those very dark green vegetables, we have them there. But you see the way we prepare them. Sometimes we overcook them, and so we lose the content. That's why we don't talk about, we just always give supplementation for before pregnancy, and then during. Immediately you find out you're pregnant, you must go on folic acid. And now when the child is conceived, actually the nutrition, the child for the first 4 months depends on what you ate before pregnancy. It's really not about what you're eating.
Wow.
So you're not eating for two, you're actually eating for the brain of the child. And that's why a lot of women put on weight. It's not right, because what they would have had for the first 4 months, I mean, that's what the baby thrives on for the first 4 months. Then you keep eating healthily when you discover you're pregnant. And then the child who is born would be breastfed. That's what we actually recommend, breastfeeding. So when we recommend breastfeeding, we expect that the mother is eating very well. Proteins, vitamins, minerals, you know, the greens, the fruits, and the carbohydrates, the proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Fats are also important, because when you think about the brain of the child, the brain needs fats for development, but it is the type of fats that is important. So the free fatty acids are really very important for the child's brain development, and you get that in avocado fats. You know, you have avocado that has good fats for the brain development of the child. You have olive oils, you have coconut oils, and you have soybean oil, and you also have canola oils. But, well, these are not what we have. What we have available is the avocado, soybean oil, and you could also have olive oil, but it's quite expensive. So, and if we have groundnut oil, which is pressed and not processed, it's very good as well.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's very important for brain health for the child. So don't say I'm growing fat. I want to go on a diet and exclude fats. The baby needs fats. Yes. So during pregnancy, you eat healthy fats, and then afterwards, you have to eat for the breastfeeding period, 6 months. Now, breast milk is not very high in iron content. That's why by 6 to 9 months, we recommend including that you diversify. You continue breastfeeding, but you diversify. So when the first 6 months you're just doing exclusive breastfeeding, you don't have all the you have everything in the milk, everything in mother's milk, but by 6 months, all of that has to be added. You know, you need to supplement, you need to get more, because the child gets more active, needs more calories. Breast milk, if you're actually still feeding the baby breast milk, you may not take the other milk, baby formula. Yes. If you're really still breastfeeding at will and you're available at home, you don't need to get baby formula, but you need to feed your baby well. That's why we have a lot of anemia between 6 and 9 months, 6 and 12 months, because we're not supplementing the right way. Eggs is one of the very important things to start baby on, you know, to add to their diet from 6 months.
From 6 months, like how many eggs should they eat?
Can you eat 1 egg a day?
1 egg a day.
Yes, you could add to their pap. When you're finished, you could have corn pap, rice pap.
Okay.
Yes, so you could add it towards the end of the cooking, and you actually cook it as well. It's good to be cooked, but it's towards the end, and you cook it. You could fry it, you could boil it, hard-boiled eggs. It's good for the baby. Carrots, you start adding things little by little. Their stomachs are not very big, so it's important that you don't think a baby at 6 months is going to finish this bowl of. That's not possible. It's little by little, and the children want to taste different flavors and accept them. There is what we call flavor-led weaning. It's important because that's one of the things I prefer to tell mothers about. When you eat, yes, weaning. Okay. No, diversification, because weaning is actually like ablactation when you're completely taking baby off breast milk.
Okay.
So when you're actually adding food but still breastfeeding, you know, it's diversification.
That's a lot of science in this arts brain today. So I wanted to, there's this thing I find with parents, that age when the children are still young, they are very careful about what the children eat. They go to the clinics and they know what they have to feed these children. But the moment the child can eat everything, maybe the child starts developing teeth, they just start giving, you eat as we eat in the house, everybody eats the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is it correct, is it right to do that?
Well, I don't think I don't want to have a strict policy, eat this or that.
Okay.
What I tell parents is when the child is starting at 6 months, you must accept the mess. The child will do a lot of things which are messy, and you need to let the child do it, so the child becomes what I call a competent eater. A child has to be a competent eater, has to taste very many different things. Spices are not the first things for babies to taste, and salt is not the first. Because children are easily, you know, if you taste breast milk, it's not sweet, it's just there. And the sweet tastes are what children easily have on the tip of their tongues, and they easily accept sweet things. But that's not sweet, let's say sugar. Bananas are very sweet, very good to introduce early at 6, 7, 8 months for babies. Apples as well. Pawpaw, these are very good fruits to introduce. Then help the baby eat. When they become competent eaters, you have to be able to go from any time to 5 times a day. You're sure they're eating 5 times a day. They get up before 8, they eat something. It could be milk, it could be pap. At 11, they have a snack. It could be any of the fruits. 1 p.m., 12 to 1 p.m., they have lunch. And they are not going to, from, let's say, they have 5, 6, 8, 10 spoons max to take from this bowl at lunchtime. They don't start eating too much. Then you have 4 p.m. where you have a snack. You could still go to this or yogurt, anything, or biscuits. And then you have dinner, supper for the child, which is 8 to 10. It depends on how late the child eats. Sometimes you would want milk before the baby goes to bed. But then you would have had 5 meals that you would be sure the baby has eaten something. Now mothers would want the child to finish a whole bowl at lunch and think it's like an adult. It's very difficult for a child to finish a whole bowl before the age of 18 months. Yes, so you need to look at the age-appropriate quantities. Their stomachs are not usually big. It's like the size of their fist. A little bit more, a little bit more, yes, when you add whatever you're adding. So you don't need to force the child. You have to help the child understand the feeling of satiety and full, and you need to differentiate between that and just a child who's whining and just making it, yeah. You see, that's why mothers are more pediatricians than the real pediatricians. You stay with the children at home, you know when they eat, you know what they really, children have this attitude. I own this eating process. You can't force me to eat. I have the power over what I eat, when I eat, and how I eat. So they want to show you they're in charge and in control. So you are, as a parent, you have to be very careful how you introduce foods and how you don't need to force them to eat, but you need to make them become competent eaters. You have to be competent and eat the quantities that are age appropriate.
Children need proper nutrients to stay healthy and strong as they grow. Did you start this healthy eating culture early enough with your children? How hard has it been? Is it worth the struggle? Join us next week on Chancier's Haven as we learn more about establishing a foundation for healthy eating habits and nutritional knowledge that your child can apply throughout life.